Project Greenlight's a contest for screenwriting and directing.
Amateur people who've never made a movie before get a chance to do just that.
We changed the contest this year. There are separate categories of writing and directing.
The Battle of Sacred Heights is a great coming-of-age story.
It's about this kid, Kelly, who's pissed off at the hand he's been dealt by life.
Because I had no idea how to get from where I was to being a Hollywood director.
I mean, I think it'd be pretty intense for them to sort of go from whatever they've been doing to literally coming to work every day and trying to make this movie.
People can see how hard it is to do this. We want to show things as they really are.
After the research screening, we regroup with the filmmakers and the writer and the editor and the producers to kind of talk about what happened the night before and where do we go from here.
You've seen the scores from last night. As you can see, that the numbers are below average, and you know, I guess disappointing.
It was all just kind of flat lines. We're like, all right, well, we'll see where we go from here. We'll see what all these folks from Miramax have to say about this.
I think the key thing is, well, the comedy seemed to work well, and I know that it played well last night, and it sounded like the audience was having a good time. But it's the drama that seemed to not deliver. I think in general people are not sure whether it's meant to be a drama or a comedy.
It really struck me last night that we had seriously undercut the drama and the family by just not showing them.
The comedy, I thought, played really well in the test screening. Unfortunately, when you then cut to the more serious stuff, it was coming out of a different movie.
We have a decision to make, you know, at the company is how are we going to market this film? My point is that you have a shot at a comedy, which I didn't necessarily believe that we did. So maybe we, you know, just push it a little bit more in that direction.
I think we don't have the material to make it a straight comedy. We definitely have the material to boost up the drama and hopefully make people more invested in him.
Right.
In order for the comedy to really work, I thought that we did need to juxtapose it with some pretty dramatic family stuff. I really always felt like that was the backbone of the movie.
It seems like we're talking about either like going kind of much more drama and earning that kind of stuff, or going way towards comedy. But I think there's sort of a way to kind of find in the middle.
Yeah, you know what? We have to commit one way or the other. I really believe that it's two separate paths here that we're talking about.
I'll just throw in my vote. I know this will be unpopular with some people, but I would rather mine for more comedy, lighten it up.
Well, I'm all for making, you know, the film not be a heavy film and for it to be light. But I think, you know, in our efforts to do that, we have really damaged what drama was there.
But I don't think he can break down and hug his mom and start crying in the version of the movie, at least I'm arguing for.
I have to agree with that. You know, the audience is fucking laughing. You know, I just wonder if it was a comedy through and through, or if they had that sense, if they would be like, you know what, he's Fletch. Yeah, we love him.
Shia is absolutely the strongest asset in the we're going to be important to market around that.
Miramax came back and said, you know, we want to make a more commercial, more funny version of the movie. And so therefore, I think Kyle and Efram, they're going to have to compromise a little bit.
I feel pretty good about it, where we're headed, and I think we kind of have a consensus here.
Sounds good.
My feeling right now is that there's a great movie there. The question is whether or not we're gonna have time to find it. We're locking picture in a couple of weeks, and we're crushed for time.
In terms of comedy, you should push it a little bit further. I thought this guy might be able to help.
Hey, what's going on?
This is Jeff.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Hey, Ben.
Hey. These are all the contest winners, and there's another one lurking somewhere.
Just had a test screening?
Yeah.
Those are fun, aren't they?
I want to do it again anytime soon.
Yeah. Like, that's my nightmare.
Yeah.
Somebody filming me watching a test screening. When does it come out?
August 22nd.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You guys are in trouble.
We're optimistic.
Market of the 21st century. Maybe I should take Chinese. Mandarin is.
I knew that the results of that test would have a huge bearing on how the studio kind of perceived the movie, and that it'd be a major setback for us if the number wasn't a high number.
It's the kind of thing that just it hurts the movie.
It devastates a movie. I mean, it kills our potential to have any support from Miramax. That test screening devastated it.
It was a death blow to our ability to market this movie. We will never be able to convince Miramax to spend as much money as they would have spent to market this movie if it had tested a 78. I mean, if we'd come in the 80s, all of a sudden this ship would be sailing full steam ahead.
Well, this was a really sophisticated kind of script that maybe required a slightly more experienced hand than these guys. But You know, I mean, that's what happens with first-time directors. We really want to make a good movie to demonstrate that this is a viable means of producing movies. And what's really at stake is for us to be able to do Project Greenlight again.
Maybe the last image of the show this year is you, me, and Matt just sitting around the table going, you know what? All the talented people are in Hollywood. The Hollywood system works. It's success, you know?
If it doesn't work twice, then they would say, nope, no talented people outside of Hollywood. System works. Keeps out the bad, keeps in the good. Why bother fucking around looking for guys on the internet? You know what I mean? Can't do it. It's no good. The films are dog shit.
It's a movie right now, my kind of biggest general note is it feels like it still doesn't really know what it wants to be.
Right.
You know, you can really construct a new movie almost in post-production. And so really, I think those guys need to take a hard look at their movie and say, let me make this as good as it can be.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I went over there just to make sure that we were all talking about the same thing. I just felt like they weren't 100% behind the idea of putting in a comedy, and I want to know exactly what direction they're going in. We don't have time to fuck around.
Have you guys had a chance to go back and edit the scenes?
So far, we put back the dramatic material.
So the notion of going more in the other direction, is that you guys are dead set against that? The comedic version of this movie?
I think what's scaring us the most is that because we didn't set out to make a comedy, you know, we're now trying to find laughs where, you know, we're trying to pull laughs out of it.
You've got a hug, you've got a really big dramatic scene. You know, I think if you would take out that next scene.
Rick said, like, you know, maybe there's a version where Shia does not cry. Those kinds of comments are really frightening, just because I feel like you don't want to make a movie where you're taking your cue from the marketing and letting it change your vision of the film.
So we got some great laughs the other night.
Yeah.
You know, I think we should embrace it and not run away from it.
I mean, I think that's where we're moving, is like, okay, can we just make this as fun as possible?
Yeah.
We agreed that in a week they would send me and everyone else the next version of the film based on our conversations there.
So, everything for my sister?
This movie feels completely disjointed right now.
We're working to get a tape to Rick Schwartz in New York. The fate of the film and, to a large extent, their careers hangs in the next couple of days.
It's hard to see the movie take shape when it's completely fucked up. And that happens every time we tear in to make new changes, it gets completely fucked up. What the fuck?
Well, as a viewer, I can decide what it is, and it doesn't look anything like a waterfront to me. Instead of us being productive right off the bat, we ran out of ideas, and it was kind of hard for all of us to focus into the film again.
Next, your commanding officer gets hit in the face, dies. 1 p.m., you lose radio contact. Next, your commanding officer gets hit in the face, dies.
To look at the material over and over again, it takes its toll.
I'm gonna lay down. For a moment.
They had a script which is kind of alien to them. It's not their sensibility. They look at the film today. It was the first time they were openly so hostile and critical and said, did we make this film?
The film is in there, I think. I think that good film, that great film is in there.
All we're doing is rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
I want you to tell me something. I want you to tell me that everything's gonna be all right.
Okay. It's all right. This is how Hollywood works.
There's 3 days to go to do this tape, and when this tape goes in and people start watching it, decisions are gonna start getting made. The tension at Miramax marketing and distribution couldn't be higher. There's some people who are just saying, let's see if there's another way to get our money back, like a straight-to-video or something.
Oh, wow.
If The Battle of Sugar Heights was not given its due and released theatrically, that would probably be the worst thing that I could imagine for the movie.
You know, there's two camps within the Miramax marketing department already. One saying bury it, the other one saying wait to see. And Rick is sort of holding it together right now for this tape. What I'm trying to explain to them is that it's the last time and the only time that Miramax is gonna make the decision about whether they release the movie in theaters ever. Efram's barely holding it together. He's like held together with like a piece of Scotch tape and dental floss.
One of the ideas that was put on the table was a voiceover from Kelly's point of view of the whole story, and we thought that that could offer comedic possibilities as well as clarify a lot of things.
Now that we're talking about voiceover, we brought Erica back in to do some writing so that the voiceover is going to match the tone of the rest of the movie.
The cool thing about war is You've got the big stuff, living versus dying, you know, bravery and camaraderie.
I have a strange aversion to voiceover because of my crazy Lithuanian film professor who said, if you need a voiceover, you have failed as a filmic storyteller.
I have recently come to realize something, that I in fact like Bart's life better than my own. And I even sometimes think about killing him and taking his place. Then I realize that that would be a bad idea.
All right, those sitting right next to the mic need to try.
I know.
It was kind of cute and awfully quirky, but wasn't adding to the film. What I will do is try very hard not to hate them when they do crazy things or otherwise act like alien pod people.
I can't believe that I'm trying to fit narration in that doesn't even fit. It's not even close. I'm not gonna change the edit to fit this fucking narration in.
If the movie was a car and Efram and I were in it and then the tire exploded and Jeff and Erica said, wait here, we'll be right back. And instead of a tire iron, they came back with a rocking chair, that would be what happened with this voiceover.
How did this happen? How did we end up with our movie being held hostage by Erica Beanie?
We were seriously running out of time, and the voiceover was not what the movie needed.
We have no time to discuss.
I know, and this is so stressful. We ended up just sending the movie without voiceover, but still with a lot of positive changes.
I would have liked there to be voiceover on this cut, definitely. We just didn't get there.
Good enough. Good enough. I think Rick, when he sees the tape, will definitely see the changes. For us, it was all about striking the right balance. And the balance is between the comedy and the drama, because there just wasn't enough comedy to remove the drama altogether. Morning, Mr. Moore.
Gentlemen.
Oh my God.
How are we?
Good. Good.
So I watched it. If that's the way you guys are going to go, and I think you've done a great job. You know, as you know, my recommendation was not to put more of the family back and try and do it, but I think you did a great job that it doesn't crash into the other parts of the story now, and so I think that's great.
When I watched the movie, it played better, but it was still the family drama version of the movie. And so I was just trying to be encouraging because at this stage, when you have so little time, for me to go in and rip it up and suggest other things and look at other stuff is just, it's not a good thing to do right now. We'll never hit picture lock by Friday.
Have you heard from Rick? Schwartz just fucking avoiding us. Hey Rick, it's Chris. I'm here with Kyle, Efram, and Jeff, and we're all sort of curious to see what you thought. Give us a call back, give them a call back, whatever you want to do. Take care, bye.
I wanted to hear from Rick. I wanted the news, good or bad.
You know, I thought it played a lot better. I just don't know if it's gonna fucking give you that hook to really go sell the movie. So I'm curious to see what Rick thinks.
Have you talked to Rick?
Let's try him again. Karina. Hey, it's Jeff. There's a bunch of people over here that are oh so anxious to hear Rick's thoughts on the movie. Has he seen it?
You know, you send something out and you like to believe that there is just such an excitement on the other end that it's going to be watched immediately, and then like Rick couldn't help himself but pick up the phone and be like, I love it. And when that didn't happen, you're like, huh, what's going on?
She thinks he's seen it, and she's gonna try to get him on the phone.
Hey, I have Rick Schwartz and Chris Moore for you guys.
Okay. All right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey.
I guess Rick, you should just start on how you feel about the new tape.
Well, first of all, I was surprised at this cut because it was not the direction of the movie that we had talked about.
I was disappointed that they'd gone off in the wrong direction.
But it felt to me like a much more dramatic movie. I think people would be, you know, certainly laughing less.
It was kind of heartbreaking just because, honestly, Efram and I have gone back to the raw footage and really pulled every moment of comedy out.
Just so you know, kind of, Rick, where we're still headed with it, we are still trying to eke out any moments of levity or comedy that we can find. We're still scouring the raw footage.
We're kind of running out of time. So.
Pretty soon, a marketing group and a publicity group will take it over. And for them, the commercial viability of the movie is really all that matters. And what they had done with this cut is they had made the film less commercial.
Well, I just have a question, which is, why did you turn in this tape? Like, I'm just assuming you're telling me without telling me that you don't want to do the comedy version of the movie. Because, I mean, it's just a little late now to keep looking for it.
Just the day before, when we're about to show a version to Rick, which is going to affect the release of the film, why would Chris not say, hey, you should know this is not the direction that Rick wants to go in, and so just be prepared for that. He never said anything like that.
As soon as Rick said he didn't like it,
I was empowered, and I felt like I had to somehow get across to these guys that they're just killing the chance of this movie getting released with any sort of, money behind it.
I mean, you don't know what we spent our time working on.
all I can judge it on is what you choose to show me.
I think it's put us in great jeopardy of how the movie's gonna get released. I think if we lose Rick as our only champion inside of Miramax, we're totally fucked. And so, for me, I'm really depressed.
Look, it doesn't matter, how we got here. It's what do we do now? We have 48 hours left to walk this picture, so what do you want to do, Chris?
All right, well, do you guys think it'd be helpful if I came by and we brainstorm some other ideas?
Well, we definitely want to get working, Chris, but I'd love to have you come in and we can talk more about this.
All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye. See you, Rick.
Bye, Rick.
It was a really hard call. There was hurt feelings about the way Rick saw the movie, and then there was hurt feelings on top of that, the way that, Chris did not defend the movie.
Jeff, what happened to Chris? How come he was effusive yesterday and abusive today?
He'll be here in an hour, ask him.
Yeah, I will. I was a little bit surprised by what you had to say on the phone during the conversation.
Okay, I'll take the blame if somehow I've been unclear to you guys. I thought I came out pretty strong in the meeting about after the test screening, and I think it should be all funny.
Right.
So my read of seeing the interim cut is you guys took what Rick and I asked you to do and basically said, we disagree. We're gonna do this version of the movie, and we're gonna show it to you, right? And hope that we get convinced by seeing it.
I just want to make it as clear as I possibly can that that's not happening. We're not in there being like, okay, Rick and Chris want this, we don't want this, so how can we not call in Chris because we're doing our own thing? It's not what we're doing. The idea that we would undermine the whole process that way, I found a little offensive. And insulting, because we had been working so hard. Why didn't you address any of this with us yesterday when you were in our office?
Because I was waiting, because the only goal right now, Efram, is to make the studio happy.
So basically you were prepared to back up whatever Rick said?
Absolutely, and I said that to you. I said in the room, we gotta wait and see what Rick says. I think Kyle and Efram are talented. They just don't seem to be taking it into account that they need a marketing department to get behind their film. I'll take the criticism that I'm unclear. Let me just stop and be very clear. When I read the script, I laughed out loud, I fell in love with this character, and I did not think it was a family drama, okay? The tape that I watched on Tuesday is a family drama that has comedy in it, okay? That's not what I set out to make.
Had we known from day one that everyone wanted a teen comedy, maybe we could have steered it more in that direction in the rewrite phase, but we were there to make a comedy/drama coming-of-age story, and that's the script that we worked on with Erica, and that's the film we shot.
We might keep it from you for a couple days, and then...
It's only 2 days left, Kyle, whatever you want to do. The Battle of Shaker Heights just ended, in my opinion.
You need your producer to be behind you and to have faith in you, but it feels like they've lost Chris's support in the process. That's not good.
I think there's a good movie. I think it can be a funny movie. I hope that Miramax will sell it as a comedy, at least give it a shot. But I think you can have an impact on Rick. I think if you say to, look, Rick, I saw the stuff they did in the next couple of days, and it succeeds as a movie, we can get him to go along with that.
I don't know that you can, after a certain period in your career, just be sitting in the studio executive's office going, hey, dude, you should do this. You should release this, when it's a less than 10% chance that makes 10,000 per screen.
I do think it's a fun movie, and part of me is like, look, you know what? When I produce a movie, not that I've had to produce that many movies, I'm just I'm gonna go down with the ship. If the ship goes down, I'm gonna go down saying that this fucking Titanic is solid.
I'm convinced that we can make a movie that succeeds as a film and also has the comedy that Rick wants, and that they can market as a comedy that critics will like, and I hope that we can win Chris back.
I don't know. I lost my optimism somewhere in this process. Chris, don't underestimate your power in this, and get it in theaters. Get it in fucking 6 to 10 theaters. All right, I'll think about it. You can do it, Chris. I don't know what Kyle and Efram are gonna do in the next couple days. If they don't convince Chris, though, and get him back on our side, we're gonna have a really hard time getting Miramax to release this film.
Chris Moore telling a child that there is no Santa Claus.
That's a great
That's the one, you know.
Did you write a letter to Santa this year?
Yeah, I want a pony.
A pony? Well, I'm not here to talk about no pony. I'm here to talk about one thing. You and the fact that you're still too stupid to realize that ain't no such thing as Santa Claus. Hey.
When I came into the room, it felt like people were loosening up. I saw Kyle and Efram and Erica getting along. I mean, I don't know if everything has magically healed. I mean, you have to understand that there was just a bomb was dropped, and you know, everyone's nervous and wants to fix it. My hope is that they can still retain their sense of humor, particularly since they're trying to come up with humorous ideas in the face of, you know, pretty strong attack.
Kyle and Efram and Jeff and I, we have all of our various internal disagreements and difficulties. And then when some external force comes, everyone galvanizes and says, no, we're gonna do this. You're lucky I wasn't restocking.
Porcupines.
Ah, yes. Dinner helmets.
I prefer the rump roast.
I would
Okay.
too. Rump roast is funny.
There was a round table kind of shooting the shit that was pretty collaborative and creative and much more open than I've seen before. Like, you know, let's try things. Let's, you know, spitball out some ideas.
We're all working to make it funnier. It definitely did unite the four of us with this common plan.
No, I love this.
I like it,
It's
you know.
cute. I think that Erica's come up with some really funny stuff. And right now I'm feeling good about the chances of this movie.
I feel good. Despite this morning, I feel good. The movie's gonna be good. They're all gonna come around.
With the way Kyle and Efram Erica are now working together, there's a way that we can have a version of the film on Friday that Rick and Chris are excited about.
It is Jeff Bayless.
How you doing?
Not having Chris on the team is not a good thing. He's a gladiator.
Chris can do a lot for this movie. And for him to just be frustrated, that's unfortunate. That, you know, to pick the wrong battles, then when you really need Chris can be a just tremendous ally.
So the good news, Jeff, just so you know, is that I was moved by your passionate speech on the street corner.
The one thing Jeff said to me out on the street that day was, look, you know, I think as a producer, the only way you can do it is you gotta go down with your project. You gotta fight for it, you gotta do the best you can, and you gotta just keep fighting for it. And so when I drove away and I thought about it, I really realized that, you know, I do believe that also. That it was still something to be proud of that we got made.
I decided that we should fight to get it in theaters, and that as much as I just have so much trouble working with Kyle and Efram, that I just have trouble wanting to fight for them.
I was not surprised to hear Chris's feelings towards Kyle and Efram. The directors have this kind of style about them that makes you feel dirty about helping them.
I talked to Rick about it, so I'm just saying to you that I'm going to fight pretty hard. So.
That's great news, Chris. Thank you.
Jeff sort of made me realize that there's a lot of other people that worked really hard on this movie. Erica and Shia and him, to be perfectly honest.
So congratulations, you were very persuasive.
Chris, thank you.
Chris gets very enthusiastic about whatever he does. Just sometimes, you know, his fires need to be stoked, and I think, you know, he's, for whatever reason, he's excited about what's going on with the movie.
We've all been working pretty much non-stop trying to figure out what the best version of the movie that will be the funniest version and still be a movie.
That's a fun, I like that taste.
The film was never meant to be a comedy, so to try to make it a comedy is a really difficult proposition.
My stress level is high, but I'm in a really good mood. I think Efram is probably in the same place.
People seem to really be ready to laugh. Let's just make them laugh. Bloopers. Any movie, you're having problems, bloopers.
Do we have bloopers in the beginning?
It's amazing to me that on the day of Picture Lock, I really feel like we got the best flow.
Okay, wait, so are the big things the family stuff? It's kind of moving the addict earlier and the dinner later?
We really uncovered a new way of making the story work.
All right, so this is potentially the last time we can watch this.
Guys, good luck.
Thank you. God help us all.
And President Don Kaminsky says every employee's part owner, so I guess you can say I'm a captain of industry in training. Sort of a capitalist larva.
I love Shia.
Everyone agreed that the comedy was really working.
What are you gonna do? Enlist?
In the Army? And lose this?
I really feel like we, you know, cracked the code.
The stuff that was cut out mostly centered around the family. making that story work without making it weighty.
It looks good.
The three-way hug, gone.
The three-way hug is never something I was embarrassed by. It became not right for the movie that the Battle of Shaker Heights ended up being.
And then imagine 15 minutes of outtakes, and we're done.
I'm very encouraged by the fact that this arrangement seems to work.
I think we've really got the movie perfect right now.
It worked. Like the whole thing just sort of.
It was fun.
No, I think it's really good. They really ended up pulling it together. I mean, I think that that's part of what's, been happening this last week is that they were forced to finally really be mindful of the opinions of others and trying to make them happy.
This is the happiest I've been with stuff.
All that remained was to do all the smaller tweaks that we had left to do before we locked picture. We stayed up all night and turned the machine over to Richard and Sharon on Saturday morning at about 6 a.m.
Hello to you guys.
That's it.
Good work, dude.
Oh.
Excellent job.
So the picture is officially locked, which feels great.
I'm gonna get so drunk that I don't know where I am.
So we just locked picture on Battle of Shaker Heights, which means all of the editing decisions are behind us.
And that feels awesome.
It feels very tired. Next week on Project Greenlight, Chris Moore talks smack about Kyle and Efram. Again. I wonder if Efram even notices that I'm attracted to him. Who the hell told these guys they could direct a movie? Not me.
I hate them.
I hate them both.
Another beer. I'm totally nervous to hear what Rick thinks of the final cut.
Hello?
Hey, Rick, it's Kyle and Efram.
Kyle and Efram.
How are you, sir?
I'm happy to say that I think you guys did a tremendous job.
Oh my God, great.
Thank you.
A tremendous job. I mean, I can't believe from where we started out from, but the movie's really good.
I was excited when I saw the final cut. Kyle and Efram and Richard and all the filmmakers really pulled it together.
I think the tone is much more cohesive, and I think you've got the right balance of the family stuff in there, and just some things clicked for me, and hopefully for you guys as well, but guys, you really did a tremendous job under unbelievable pressure, so thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Rick. We're very pleased to hear that.
This means a lot to us that you enjoyed it.
I believe what we have in The Battle of Shaker Heights is a strong movie, a funny movie with some heartwarming moments, and I think this is really a movie that we as a company can get behind.